strong believer of stronger together.
Right. Right. And that's collaboration and cooperation. And so very important. So, we're all going through a pivot right now. We're all going through this time, this change. And I was saying to a friend of mine yesterday, I was on a webinar. I said, for the first time in our industry, everyone is on the same level. You may have more knowledge in image. I may have more knowledge in etiquette, but basically on a business level, we're all at the same place and at the same time. And that's unheard of. This is the first time in history. And you have taken this opportunity to reflect and to sit back and to look at your business with new eyes. And I'm really excited for you to share with our group today how we can go about reinventing ourselves during this global crisis.
That's true. We're all in the same boat. We all got hit. If you are in business, you're an entrepreneur, all of a sudden, there's no sales, the stores are closed. Suddenly, if you're an employee, you find yourself jobless, etc. So I know this sounds counterintuitive, and at the end of the day, I would say first of all, check your runway. Like in fashion, there's the runway where models show off their clothes, etc., and sell. Bottom line, but for some people, they have a shorter runway. So if you have to pay the bills and you have to make money at once, of course, you might have to take in some kinds of jobs that might not be actually what you are hoping for or what you want to do. But for people with medium-sized or longer runways, then I think this is the perfect time to really reinvent yourself and consequently rebrand. Because right now there's a dash towards digital and a lot of people are now online. There's a lot of work from home situations. There's a lot of digital presence requirements, etc. And it's a great time to either, number one, do things that you've always wanted to do. And we're so busy working in your business that you weren't working on your business. So do the things you always wanted to do, or if you're really pressed to raise the money to feed your family, then now might be a time to exercise those creative juices and get the courage up, because reinvention takes, number one, courage. Usually you're treading on uncharted waters. It's something that you weren't doing before and now you're doing. So it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of vision for you to be able to see where you want to go. And there's execution. You have to execute. So those are the foundational pieces of executing a successful reinvention. But you see, Jacqueline, I have a very, very easy to remember acronym for reinvention, and that is GIFTS. GIFTS. You, my friend, give fabulous gifts, because I have seen some of your gifts on your Instagram posts, right? I've seen them. So you will remember this. First is G, the letter G. It's really to go inward. To go inward, reflect on what are my strengths, where do my passions lie, and what can I contribute to the world? What can I give? So those are things that, if they're clear to you, including the very important question, what makes me different from the others? If you have clarity in those things and you can answer them, then that is a great place to start with. So G is for going within, making sure that there's a target audience that I would love to serve, knowing my strengths and my weaknesses. So that's for G. I is going into the future. What is the perfect future for me, and where do I want to go? What is the destination? So if you're looking at me now, this one is in the future. What business do I want? How do I see this business? How will I make money from this? How will I prosper? So, and then there's F. The F is formulate the strategy or formulate the plan if you want it simple. Formulate the plan, and how am I going to go from this point to that point, A to B? How will I get the business or the job or the reinvention that I want? Because some people, they want to stay where they are, but a better version. Let's say you are a financial consultant right now. You might want to be a financial consultant, but of a higher caliber. Somebody who makes more money. That's an example. Of course, there are different types of pivots. There are pivots that want for people that want to go to another industry or totally reinvent themselves. Then there's letter T. So T is for taking action, because a lot of people, I notice, they have the strategy, they have the dreams, the plans, etc. They know where they want to go. The problem is they keep on taking courses and then courses and then courses, but they're not executing. So I had the privilege, Jacqueline, to speak at the U.S. Southeast Regional Conference recently. This was just last week. And I shared with them one technique that I learned from one of my mentors. His name's Evan Pagan. And it's basically to throw your hat over the fence. So if you want to do something, how are you going to go across to the other side of a fence?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but if you want to make sure that you're going to go across, then you throw your hat over the fence. So that's basically either making a commitment or making a public announcement that I'm going to do this. I'm going to be offering online courses and opening an online school within 2020 for personal and professional development. So that's a very straightforward public announcement. So it's like you have no choice. You gotta do it, girl. You know what I'm saying? And okay, there's the last one is S. So gifts. So the S is basically sharing your brand, because at the end of the day, we were talking about this before we went on air, and it's really, you have to rebrand. So that's talking about the personal brand and increasing visibility, credibility, so that you can assure profitability in the end. So branding is a long-term process. It doesn't happen overnight. So there's this really interesting quote that I read on LinkedIn recently that says, oh, that was like, it took 10 years to be an overnight success.
I think it's taken me 20 years to become an overnight success.